Shawna Benson.
Except,
Oh, this is a fun table.
This is the canon table.
All right, we're ready.
let's do it.
I want to know how this writing process works with two sisters
We
here.
fight all the time, and I win.
Generally. No,
That's not true.
yeah, no, most of the time we subscribe to the idea that the best idea wins.
It's something we learned on the 100.
Yeah, you work toward writing a story, and you have to be objective. You have to be a little bit objective about it and step away from your ego, which is really hard because as writers, we all kind of have a little bit of an ego. Our ego is wrapped up in our art, and it's easy to smash it with a hammer very easily. But you have to kind of step back from it and go, oh, you know what? That's a great idea. That's better than the idea I had.
Oh, you're right. She wouldn't say that. She would say this.
You rewrote that line, and that line is so much better now.
Thank you. No, being sisters too, it helps because we're not twins. We were born on the same day, but 3 years apart. But just being sisters, I mean, if y'all have brothers and sisters, you can do the thing of like, remember the time, and they go, oh yeah. Like, you don't even need to finish the story. You have that twin speak, and so we do that a lot. We don't realize how much that is an attribute to a writing partner.
No, it's a total benefit for us. I mean, it's a little weird for people in, say, the 100 writers room when we.
Oh yeah, I can just look at her and she'll go, oh yeah. So we need to, and they're like, how did you just do it? We're meta-humans. We have telekinesis and telepathy.
We've got our whole lives wrapped up in it. So.
What was the question?
Process.
I think
right.
you got it.
Okay, we got
Best
it.
idea wins.
Well, my question is, who were your influences to become writers?
Lucy Maud Montgomery.
Nice. Angry Gables, right?
That's right.
Yes.
The pseudonym of Carolyn Key. Growing up and reading books and Agatha Christie. These are the female writers, but obviously there were a lot of male writers. I read a lot of books. Julie read a lot of comic books, and I read a lot of books. And I always knew that was what I wanted to do.
And I learned it through a different form, which was watching. So I would say, oh, look, Katharine Hepburn's so good in this movie. And then at some point you start to go, who are the words for Katharine Hepburn to say? And then you start to realize, oh, it's that process of learning and saying, I want to do that. I want to be able to write words for Katharine Hepburn, or I want to be able to write for Dana Scully. Like the X-Files was the show I think that I was like, oh, I want to write that. That seems fun. And by the way, where are the women writing X-Files?
For me it was Doctor Who. Like Doctor Who was like the show. Like I wrote a Doctor Who.
We wrote Doctor Who fan
play that never got made.
Yes.
It was in play form.
Someday it'll.
It was in a play form. All of my friends were supposed to be in it. I had the scarf and the hat.
Yep.
Like I was down. I was ready.
So you were the Tom Baker.
I was. I had very curly hair when I was.
And then I would dress up as Ace. We were nerds before it was cool. And that's the hipster way to say it. But we hid behind it. And now I think it's so great to see little girls and boys out there that are they're in their Wonder Woman outfits and they're like, yeah, we're doing this. And you're like, yeah, we are. That's great.
It seems like the conversation about diversity is at least starting to shift from just what's on screen to also what's happening behind the scenes. I'd just like to hear what your perspective on that is, and if you feel like that actually is changing, because it does feel like it doesn't happen enough. The conversation doesn't happen.
It is changing. I think, we got the question of, you write a female book with 3 female superheroes and you're females. That seems to be a prevalent thing in the big two. But I think that's changing. I think that there's the opportunity to go back to the Louis Simonson days and the Gail Simone days when there were so many women that were writing these books. Pay gaps. We talk internally now. I'll just start asking my peers, what do you make per page? Here's what I make. Because if we're embarrassed about it, how are we ever going to learn and overcome and be equal? And in the same breath, our male peers who step in and support and help, that means everything to us. And the sexual harassment stuff, we've worked in Hollywood a long time. We put up with a lot of BS. But that was just it. We put up with it. And now now I think there's this wave of women feeling like, you know what, I don't have to put up with that anymore. Wait a minute, why am I putting up with that? And all of us sort of, when you get a large voice, you start to feel empowered. And so there's a sense of empowerment that's happening right now. And it's not to negate men, and it's not to say, beat it, get out of here. We don't want an all-female, Hollywood. Well, maybe we do. Now that I said it. No. But, it's supporting each other. And I think that's been the great thing. Women coming up the ranks, I've had both men and women that supported our careers. But right now, it feels like it's important for me to turn around and support the next one.
Yeah. I think that for a long time, women were kind of pitted against each other because there were so few, seemingly few jobs. Because it was like, well, you got to have a woman on a show. They also do that.
Or a black person.
Yeah, or a diverse
where's the
slot.
Oh, it's just
and so the thing is it's not a zero-sum game. We should all be in the same boat together. And like we have a writers group, of our peers, and it's
diverse because they are,
and it helps, just to have that environment where we can, read each other's work, give each other notes, but also to just like commiserate about our experiences
and not feel like you're alone,
and support and cheer each other on. When one of us gets a job, we don't go, I wanted that job. It's like, no, it's great. I'm so happy about that job. So I think that
and that's different. That hasn't been like that.
It really hasn't.
That's new.
Yeah.
For women to not feel like we have to call each other's eyes out to get the one gig in the writers' room. 100 is nice because it's primarily, I think it's evenly split or more female than men in that room.
Yeah, it's been more female.
So we got lucky. Yeah. We'll see how far it keeps going. I'm glad we're talking about it. So it's not an ugly, dirty secret or something anymore.
The conversation has increased a lot in Hollywood about these.
Now, as you stated, you ladies grew up with your father reading Golden Age.
Silver Age.
I'm sorry, Silver. I tend to go back and forth because I'm a comic fan myself.
Okay, let's talk.
Is there a Silver Age character that you feel would benefit from being revealed or maybe expanded on in today's day?
Yes. I will get in a lot of trouble from DC if I say, because we may be writing that character.
I would be the dead English.
Sorry, guys.
Well, let's talk about the characters that you are writing. Batgirl and the Birds of Prey. You just had an arc that I thought was really great, where only the men could get sick.
Oh, the manslaughter arc.
And it was
Sorry,
so cool
guys.
because you got to take not just the heroes of the female world, you got to take the villain female, and you've got Wonder Woman in there. How cool was that to like bring everybody together for that like common goal?
It was that's the dream, right? I mean, on the 100 we have a huge ensemble show. We have so many characters, and it's a good thing. I roll my eyes in love because I'm so glad we have that many, but it is a lot of characters. And so then you're writing Birds of Prey, and you got 3. And you're like, okay, this is fun because we're telling, what if we made it bigger? Like, how would they interact with Wonder Woman? Do they know each other? What's the continuity? But why do we need those characters, and what are they bringing to the table was also really important. So their skill sets were all individually sort of selected for that story, and giving the villain, quote unquote, the villain, Poison Ivy, the sort of heroic moment at the end of realizing how to make the serum. I think it's so important to just show that at the base level, even the villains are human, and they care about making sure that playground is fair. And so when we told DC we had the idea, and we started, the list was 2 times bigger. Who we wanted.
Supergirl.
We wanted a hot girl. We wanted everybody.
We wanted
Where's Barda? Oh, you can't use Barda. Why?
No Barda.
We had a list, you guys, but they were great in that they said you can use all of these because of continuity. It had nothing to do with anything else. But what a exciting! It was so hard though because we should have made that arc another issue. I feel just to give them time to actually.
That would have been awesome.
Oh, it was so tough to do that in 3, but we tried to give them each a moment. We tried to make sure we paired them up individually, like uniquely
Interesting pairings.
Yeah.
I mean, we actually went through and like separated out A, B, C teams, and we're like, okay, who do we want on which squad?
You're gonna
kind
mix
of,
it up.
and
It was
put
really
different
fun.
characters together.
So when the TV show happens, we can do that.
And showrunners too, by the way, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll happily take that job.
Yeah.